This is Jerod Lakefield, a novel by Don Fensler, Part 45. Stapleton Center. It was 5 o'clock p.m. Time to go to the game. We got into the car and drove to the Stapleton Center without talking, but I felt us communicating in the deepest, most spiritual way possible. Some intense but quiet vibration was moving back and forth between Jennifer and I. We walked into the Stapleton Center. We held hands and felt like we were dangling from a cliff. We didn't speak. There was nothing to say. We would have much to say later. It was 6 o'clock now. The place was already packed, even though it was more than an hour before tip-off. Since Jerod had joined the team and after the Los Angeles Leopard game, the ones that followed, the Clappers could be playing a Pee-wee team from western Kansas, and the fucking people would still jam the place. They wanted to see Jerod Lakefield. As Jerod had instructed us, we sat in the cheap seats far away from him. For this we felt bad, as if we were abandoning Jerod Lakefield in his time of need, but we knew there was a reason. He would not look... If Jerod told us to do it, you knew there was a reason. He would not look at it as a betrayal and cowardice, would he? We still worried about that. I felt so fucking weak and meaningless as I looked down on the court from our nosebleed seats. I looked over at Jennifer, and she was pale as death, ghostly white, and I felt and heard this wind blow through my chest, a soft breeze on my face, even though we were indoors. I closed my eyes, and what flashed in my mind was a horrible vision. I was at a funeral looking at Jennifer in a casket, peaceful, sad, and silent. I was going through a tough time with my emotions, but Jennifer did not notice. Maybe because she was going through the same struggles and was in her own mind just like I was. She was inside her own mind just like I was. Sitting behind us were a group of 5 men who were already drunk. This was the last thing we wanted, being with a fucking gang of alcoholics, and we wanted to move, but there was no place to move. They were already getting rowdy, even saying fuck more than I did. The solemn, tranquil mood was shattered because of these guys, and it made me think, more than a brief, cogent moment, that this was all fucking nuts. I thought at this point in my life, as in San Diego, and as Lakefield's best friend, I had left all the fucking drunks and the cheap seats behind, but here I was in the flesh with Phi Kappa fuckheads. Man, I feel like I'm back in Minnesota, I said under my breath to Jennifer. What the hell is this with these drunks? Jerod had us sitting way up here. What the hell are we doing up here with a pimply face, inebriated jerks like this? I gestured with my thumb to the 5 individuals behind me who had redneck written all over their face. Be quiet, Miss Shawn, said Jennifer. They'll hear you. Even though I had spoken so quietly, there was no fucking way they could have heard me. I could tell the mood had been broken with her, too, because of these yahoos behind us. We had both gone from thinking about we were about to be something big and holy was about to happen, to being nobodies, about to be something very small and incredibly fucking stupid. Then I remembered Jerod Lakefield and last night, and I felt my head spin, spiral down, and explode in flames. My mind was in a deep turmoil right now. Yeah, Mr. Mission Impossible, mimicked the green-shirted drunk behind us. Be quiet, we'll hear you. Ha ha. I felt it's obvious they had heard Jennifer tell me to be quiet. I felt my hands clench and felt my face flush. I was not scared. I was as fucking angry and as ready for action as I have ever been in my life. I felt so alive right now. Well, look at Michelle, one of the green t-shirt friends said. Aren't you going to stand up for your lady? Speaking of which, how about giving me the black boy loving cunt sitting next to you? She looks like she could use some white meat. Black t-shirt and his buddies cackled like chickens. I was angry, but also amazed at their brazenness. "Let it go, Miss Shawn," pleaded Jennifer. "Remember what happened last night. This is bigger than this. For Jerod's sake, we need to be strong and ignore these guys." I felt like I wanted to fucking strangle all 5 of them with my bare hands, to wring their heads right off like old MacDonald wrings the heads off his chickens. "Oh, what happened last night?" bellowed a guy in a Metallica shirt. "Tell us about it, Michelle. Tell me all about last night, Michelle." They all cackled like a bunch of chickens. I glared at the guy and he smiled, a reptile-like smile. He was dying for me to take this to the next level, but somehow his words, "Tell me about last night," took my mind off this ridiculous moment and back to last night. I smiled my own reptile smile and said, "Be cool. I remember when I had my first beer." Right now, even being called Michelle didn't bother me. Somehow, the words or the smile took the wind out of the black t-shirt sail, and he sat back in his seat and said, "Fucked up nigger." I hadn't heard that word in so long I had almost forgotten that it was supposed to set me off. And suddenly the racist asshole guy behind me meant nothing. It was like the lightning flashed and the thunder crashed and the thunder heavens parted. Jerod Lakefield had just walked onto the floor and was starting to warm up. It was like the guys behind us, the other people in the arena, even Jennifer didn't exist. "You gonna kick the jigaboo's ass?" asked one of Black T-Shirt's friends. I heard him, but I didn't hear him. Again, their brazenness and my ability to nullify their existence amazed me. My eyes and mind and total fucking being were now focused on one thing, Jerod Lakefield. The last warm-up. Sitting in the nosebleed seats, Jerod Lakefield looked small, but I could see he was moving with an awesome focus and sadness. He was going through his usual routine. This way, that way, faking out the phantom defender, then he would cock his head and shoulder to the right and shoot the ball in. The crowd would roar like it was the last fucking shot of an overtime game. It was fucking madness. The noise, the bedlam, the dozen security guards lining the court to make sure no one ran onto the court and mobbed Jerod. Again, he was like the Beatles and Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin all rolled up into one. Jerod seemed totally oblivious to all this and went through his warm-up routine the way he always did, the way he has done since I first saw him at St. Cloud State over a year ago. And then suddenly I saw him stop. It was like the referee had called a timeout, even though it was before the game, and Jerod quickly ceased his warm-up routine and stood still, and the crowd went silent. The total silence was breathtaking. Even the fucking redneck yahoos behind me were quiet, even reverent. And then Jerod Lakefield looked up at Jennifer and I. Even from the great distance, we were looking at Jerod eye to eye, and he nodded and gave us this little wave with his right hand. It was like he was saying fucking hello or goodbye, but you couldn't tell which. But you had a feeling it was goodbye. The silence lasted for 2 or 3 seconds, and it felt like the 17,893 people in the arena were looking back and forth between Jerod Lakefield and Jennifer and I, trying to figure out what was going on and why the mood had changed so fucking dramatically and gotten so quiet. Then Jerod once again began his routine, bobbing around, faking in and out, reducing the phantom defender to nothing and shooting the ball into the basket. And gradually the crowd warmed up again and was screaming like they were at a fucking Michael Jackson concert. But somehow it was different. I knew, and I think all 17,893 people in the Stapleton Center knew something had changed. And that when Jerod Lakefield looked up at Jennifer and I, the look on Jerod's face as he made eye contact was that something was about to happen. Something earth-shaking and life-changing. I looked at Jennifer and she looked at me, and I took her hand. And I heard the green shirt and Metallica shirt and the other rednecks talking behind me, and one of them said, "What the fuck is going on?"